Hello everyone, it's Lean. Today I'm gonna show you how to make the famous cardigan. I used these colors, but you can choose whatever you want. Later I changed the colored one with the off-white one because it's prettier. So this is all you're gonna need. And now we're gonna start by making the slip knot, and then I chained 22 chains because I want my square to be 14 by 14 centimeters. Now you're gonna ignore the first stitch and go into the second one because we're making half double crochets. You're gonna yarn over and then go through the stitch, and then you have 3 on your hook. You're gonna yarn over again and get out the 3 yarns. And now you're gonna repeat the same method until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you're gonna want to chain 1 and then flip the piece and start by continue doing your half double crochets until you reach the number of rows you want. Now for my squares, I needed to make 16 rows. You're gonna find in the description box the number of squares I used for each color. Goes for the yellow and for the off-white. And now for the rippings, you'll need this for the front panel and this long one for the back panel. I made a little rift there, that's why I didn't attach them, but you can totally attach them. And this is smaller ripping for the edges. And also you'll need a ripping shaped like a bracelet so you can attach the sleeves with it. The way you make the rippings is the same as the squares, but you need to go through the back loop only. And for the first ripping, you're gonna start by chaining 11, and for the edges ripping, you're gonna start by chaining 6. And for the sleeves, also same as the first one, you're gonna chain 11 also. As you can see, I'm only going through the back loop. There's no specific numbers of rows you can follow because it depends on your yarn. So I didn't count mine, but I measured it. Now I'm gonna show you how you can seal your sleeve ripping. There's 2 ways. You can use it by you can close it by your hook or by the yarning needle, but this is easier. You have to pay close attention to the last stitch because we don't want it to look sloppy, and seal it. Now you're gonna chain one and then pull through, and that's it. Now I'm gonna try it on. When you're done making your ribbings and your squares, you're gonna start by attaching the squares. This is the back panel, it's 5 by 5 squares. This is the front panel, it's 2 by 5. And the sleeves, you can see now it's 4 by 4, but I changed it later to 3 by 4 because the sleeve was so long. Now for attaching your squares, you're gonna fold them the way you wanted them to be. Of course you're gonna attach them from the back, so the final look will be from the other side. Okay, and you're gonna use your yarning needle or your hook, but for the squares I found it easier to do it with the yarning needle. And you're just gonna go through the stitches, but try to pick the farthest stitches from each other so it can look good from the front, and do the same thing until the end of the square. Now to finish up, you're gonna take the yarn you finished with and the yarn you started with, and you're gonna pull them away from each other to make the stitches tight. When you're done, just tie your yarns together to secure your work. And that's it. This method you're gonna use to attach all the squares, also the ribbings. Also the same thing goes for attaching the rows. You just have to pay attention to the side you're attaching, so it has to be the back side. can see here, for attaching the sleeve is so big compared to the ripping, so I have a method for that. You just take a random yarn and just go through random stitches just so you can like pull the stitches closer to each other, as you can see in the video. Now, as I said, the color doesn't matter because you're gonna remove this yarn later, and now you're gonna just pull the ending yarn and the one you started with, and make the stitches closer to each other like this. Now it's easier to attach the ribbing. Now just try to skip few stitches from the sleeve and maybe go through the same stitch twice for the ribbing so it can be attached nicely. And it's a random thing to do. Now when you're done, you're gonna do the same you did as the squares. You're gonna just pull these two yarns away from each other and then tie them together to secure your work. And now I'm going to show you how to clean your yarns. You're going to use the same method for the rest of the yarns. If it's a short yarn, you're going to go through the stitches first, then attach the yarn. But if it's a long one, you're going to attach the yarn first, then go through the stitches. It's easier. Now just remove the first yarn we added. Now the sleeves are ready. This is how the cardigan looks before I attach the ribbings and the squares together. And this is the final look. Please comment down below what you think, and if you try to make one with me, please send me a picture.